So I hear mentioned in an interview. Let's see what's going on. PS2 New Genesis series producer Yuya Kimura considers PSO like my own child and explains why you should return to the MMO. I mean, I'm with it. People always talk about like, oh, well, you know, fix this, fix that. You should always want people to return to your game. Like, that's silly to want otherwise. So it was 2 weeks since Sega dropped its big Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis December update, adding content that would help players. I'm actually gonna mute music for myself, that way I don't get distracted while I'm reading through this, but you guys can keep hearing music on your end. I just won't hear it. All right, cool. So it's been almost 2 weeks since Sega dropped its big PSO2 NGS December update, adding content that would help players new and returning get caught up and ready to keep progressing the story in the MMO. This update also included the game's 2.5 year anniversary. To celebrate the update and the anniversary, Sega offered us the opportunity to ask Phantasy Star Online series producer Yuya Kimura some questions, not only about NGS, but about his time with Sega and the Phantasy Star IP as a whole. Ooh, I like this. Of course, we couldn't turn down the offer, so we sent a few questions their way, and now we have the answer. So it wasn't a live interview. They just sent some questions in, and then they, answered the questions probably via email or something like that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Cool. Tell us about yourself and how you got into the industry. My name is Yuya. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing this too bad. Yuya Kimura, and I'm the series producer of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis at Sega. I have been with the group for 21 years. Began my career at Sonic Team. Oh, interesting. As a part-time game designer, primarily creating quests for Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2, which were in operation at the time. During this time, Sega was split into 2 separate development studios. Ooh, okay, cool. Have you always been at Sega, or have you worked for other developers? If so, what makes Sega different? When I was a student at a game-related vocational school, I worked for about 2 months as a part-time assistant at another company through a teacher at the school. I was still a student at the time, though, so I guess you could basically say that my history in the game industry equals my history with Sega. Okay, fair enough. So you're not really counting the stuff you did while you were in school. I had to drop out of technical school due to personal circumstances, but in the Japanese game industry, there were almost no full-time jobs available for inexperienced game designers without a university or technical school diploma, and at the time, there were very few part-time jobs for openings for inexperienced workers. Yikes. The first such opening I saw was at Sonic Team, so I applied there, and was honestly the reason I joined the company. Yo, he really jumped in primarily because he didn't have a job anywhere else. Therefore, it's difficult for me to make comparisons because I've never worked in another company properly when I started working part-time. Though I thought I would quit after I had 2 or 3 years of experience under my belt and changed jobs. I ended up working here for such a long time, so at the very least think this company must suit my personality. Dope. You've been working for the Phantasy Star IP for a long time. What made you stick with it, stick with this one series for so long? When I first joined the company part-time, I was fortunate to be involved in Phantasy Star Online episode 1 and 2, Goated, which has a large number of fans. The series continues to grow along with its fans via online operations by releasing sequels, and I think one of the reasons I have been able to continue working with the series for so long is I've been able to develop my skills and career through my involvement in the series, no matter how much I want to continue working on a title. If the series is discontinued, that's the end of it. In the process of working on Phantasy Star series, I've also developed an attachment to it, and I've developed an attachment to it, and I think my top motivation now is that I consider it to be like my own child. Honestly, that's what's kept me playing PSO2 so long, or Phantasy Star games for so long, is they're all different. Everyone talks about Phantasy Star games like being something specifically, but like every single one has actually been different, which is actually kind of cool. So it keeps things new and fresh. What's your favorite thing about the Phantasy Star series? What are some things you like to see added in the future? I've always wanted to get into the game industry because I loved action RPGs. Since I was a student, I always loved robot games and anime, so those are part of the series that I personally have always enjoyed. Anime and robot games, we take those. I'm also proud of the fact that as an online game, the system is really good, in that it's easy to form a party, and it's also easy to enjoy casual co-op without needing to form a party. I mean, true. As initial director of Phantasy Star Online 2, PSO2, I created detailed specifications for the multi-party quest system myself and developed it with great care. Actually, based. I believe the concept has been followed in current expedition system in NGS, although I am now one step removed from the development process. As producer, I always tell my development team to be aware of this point. Not as developed, I think, from the perspective of like just being the open world multi-party system in general, like, yeah, that's fine. But there is a step away from like how easy it is to create parties and things like that, because I don't know, players just find a difficult time using the systems that are put in place at the moment. And they definitely were a little easier back in PSO2 because they were right in front of your face. You couldn't really ignore them as much. You just dropped a big update in Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. What were the big goals for this particular update? Do you feel you succeeded with it? In June 2023, the game was upgraded to version 2, and the new elements such as creative space, portable holograms were implemented that attracted new players and brought back returning players. However, the battle content for core users released from August onward had a high barrier to play. This is more of a barrier to entry, by the way. In addition, many players who have played the content felt like the rewards were not commensurate with the difficulty level or playtime. For those reasons, some people gave up on playing midway through. In response, we made adjustments in October and November, including easing the join conditions to make them easier to meet, rebalancing rewards, and implementing a boost campaign. In addition, in December, we're making it NGS easier to play, or we're making NGS easier to play than ever before by further easing the requirements and revamping rewards. We hope this will bring back inactive players and entice new players to join NGS. As for the response to the update, as of writing this, it has only been less than a week since it was released, so we haven't been able to see all the results yet. But we know that it has been generally well received, and the numbers of active users is gradually increasing. So, like, good. A few things to point out though, like the rewards rebalancing still needs a bit more work. Boost campaign's nice. Some things should just be baseline now, in my opinion. I think that's what they're going to kind of move towards doing, but they want to introduce it as like a boost campaign to generate hype. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's not been too bad. Barrier to entry has definitely been much lower, so people can get into the game a lot easier. For new players looking to come in, is there anything you'd like them to know? Although it's been 2.5 years since we launched in GS, I'm happy to say it's a game anyone and everyone can still pick up and enjoy. Definitely. For example, make it easier to catch up to top players. There's a permanent plus 300% boost EXP earning. Wow, that's permanent. Okay, that's the answer to a question I had beforehand. But there is a permanent plus 300% boost to EXP earned in combat sectors up to a certain level. Also, by leveling up, you get pre-enhanced equipment appropriate to your level. Until you reach the highest level, you'll have no real problems with your equipment. Also true. The latest chapter of the story is chapter 6. We've eased back on the overall difficulty of progressing through the story. As a reward for completing chapter 5, for example, you get a huge amount of in-game currency, as well as a ton of avatar items that let you quickly push ahead with your adventures while enjoying fashion and other aspects of the game. So there's no reason to shy away from the game. It's not all too late to get started. If you're even just a bit curious about NGS, I encourage you to go ahead and give it a try, since the base game is free to play. Yeah, it's completely free, so that works. This update also celebrates kind of an unusual milestone, 2.5 year anniversary. Was there anything specific behind the choice to celebrate a half-year mark? It's not something most developers do. A half-year anniversary celebration campaign may not be common practice in online PC/console games like NGS, but in fact, it has become fairly normal for smartphone games in Japan and Asia in recent years. Did not know that. We had been thinking about it. We had been thinking it would be an interesting initiative, and wanted to incorporate it, and the opportunity arose. Okay. For reasons I mentioned earlier, the timing of the updates that gave shape to our desire to make NGS easier to play coincided with a 2.5 year anniversary in December, so we decided to take this opportunity to do it. If the event is well received, we hope to make it an annual event going forward. Cool. Speaking of milestones, is there anything over your time working on Phantasy Star series that really stands out as a favorite moment? In the course of continuing the series for such a long time, we often hear people have become best friends or even gotten married as a result of the series, and these stories make us feel truly happy to have created the game. We recently received a wonderful report that one of our official creators got married to another one of our official creators as a result of the NGS official creator program, which featured NGS video streamers. Based. It wasn't because of the NGS official creator. It wasn't because of the official creator program, but I dig it. Especially in the case of online games, we were always aware that there were people who are for whom playing the game has become part of their lives. But hearing stories like that really brings home that the entertainment we've created is enriching a part of our players' lives. People who don't know, maybe you're watching the video, maybe you just happen to stumble across this, maybe you just happen to stumble across the stream, but that's me. That's me. I got married in game. We did that. That was us. That was me and Skulls. So that's pretty cool. Didn't mention us by name, but hey, you know what? I'm glad that it got back to them, that this happened, and it warms their hearts. That's super cool. Kimura had to spin it. You know what? I'm here. I'm here with him. he spun it in a very positive light, and honestly, I'm for it. All right. So especially in the case of online games. Okay, no, cool. Awesome. Is there any message you'd like to give the players of Phantasy Star games? To all the cherished fans of the Phantasy Star series and dedicated arcs who embarked on the adventures in NGS, thank you for enjoying the series. NGS celebrated its 2.5th anniversary in December. In celebration of this occasion, as a token of our appreciation to all NGS players, we're currently running the Super Genesis Festival, a fantastic campaign taking place during the New Year's holiday season. This campaign offers numerous benefits not only to existing players but also to new players and those who have been on a break. We encourage everyone to come and join in. Now it's time to play NGS. We like to thank Yuya Kimura for taking the time to answer the questions. And for the Phantasy Star Online New Genesis players among us, we'd like to thank Yuya Kimura for taking the time to answer our questions. And for the Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis players among us, if you haven't hopped in to see what the new update is about, now might be the time. Yo, that is awesome. That is super freaking cool to have that even mentioned in the article. I mean, again, we weren't mentioned by name, which I didn't expect to be, but I didn't realize this reached Yuya Kimura. That's awesome. That is, I mean, now it's kind of hitting me that it actually made it to him in the first place. That's sick. Yo, I don't think Skulls has seen this, by the way. So you guys may want to let her know when she does wake up. But super cool to hear that I made it back to them. Yeah, Skulls and I met in PSO2. Like, we met via the fashion show itself. So had it not been for PSO2, we might not have met. I do believe, fate has a way of playing a part in everything. Eventually, probably would have met doing something. But the fact of the matter is we met playing PSO2. So that's super awesome. That is freaking surreal, guys. That is surreal. Oh, man. All right, I'm not sure how to end this. I think I'm gonna make this a YouTube video. I did locally record this as well. So if you guys are watching over on YouTube, do all the YouTube things. It's very appreciated. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't disagree with anything he said in this article. Now is a great time if you haven't been playing NGS to play NGS, because there's a lot of catch-up stuff involved. A lot of things that give you tons of resources if you need those resources in general. If you don't, now is a great time to kick back, relax, and coast till next month, where we get, our next patch cycle with new weapons and new armor and stuff like that. So definitely very exciting. NGS a shot. It's free. Absolutely. It's completely free. But you have to lose within time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, my friends. Peace out.